So, what are the ways that we are a continuation of the gospel? The ways that the risen Christ has appeared to you and transformed your living?
Well, when I think back of what I've done all my life, I think back to when I started working, and I had no idea that I was going to be into human services at all. I did business courses in school, so when I started looking for a job, I took some clerical tests for civil service, and the job that I was offered and took was at the Department of Social Services. And as I worked there for 30 years, I just realized that God had put me there for a reason. He planted me there, He wanted me there, and I just made up my mind that I was going to do what I could for people and listen to them and help them all that I could. And so that's what I tried to do, and it made me feel like I was doing something, and tried to be kind. And so when I look back on that, I realized that God didn't want me to be a clerical person. He wanted me in there. So then when I retired, I started out by watching Emily. I took care of Emily for the first 5 years, and then she had to go to school, so I had days free again. And so I was asked by the church here, with Larry Setzer and I were just supposed to look at the secretary position and see, because we were losing our full-time secretary, and see what the position really needed and everything. So we came to the conclusion that a 10-hour-a-week secretary was plenty for the church, and I had no idea that, applying for it or anything. But then I was asked to apply for it, so I applied and they hired me. So, but I just wanted to make a difference in the way the church is perceived when people first walk in. I wanted them to be able to see a friendly, welcoming face, and be a person, a point person for the church, and help people where I could. And then I started getting into my food projects, and started doing the food sense first, and then the free food. And so I try to, be what I can there. And I just feel like God put me in those places in my life to do what He wanted me to do.
And share. Be a continuation of that love.
Yeah.
So where is your hope, and how has it transformed this whole journey for you?
I believe that I'm going to be cured. I'm going to be one of the survivors. And I've been calm about the whole thing. Inside, God's kept me calm. And when I went into surgery November 5th, I thought I was having a hysterectomy, and it didn't turn out that way. But I told the doctors I knew I wasn't alone, that God was there with me, and that I believe He was, because they fixed a hernia that I've had for 28 years and didn't do what I thought, but that's not what God wanted done. And I do believe that I am going to, even though they took out 18 samples and I had 2 tumors, and so I believe that everything's going to be good. It's going to be all taken care of. God's going to make sure it is. And I just feel like a whole new person. I feel the best I have felt in years. I've had that hernia 28 years. They tell me I've had the cancer for some time. And so, anyway, what OBGYN doctor takes care of a hernia? I know God was there with me. And Pastor Missy gave me a cross that she sent to Bethlehem.
It's from Jerusalem.
From Bethlehem. It was blessed. It's made of olive tree wood, and I carry it with me all the time. I have it in my pocket, my pocketbook, I have it with me all the time. Even when I go to bed, I hold on to it. It's on my chest. And I just believe in the power of prayer. And I know God is going to get me through this.
The ways we are a continuation on the gospel. Well, it's through the volunteering that, and I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what it is. The way I help people is through volunteering. It's just happened to be a lot of them are animals that I help. Like 50 to 100 cats I've probably rescued over the years.
It's also the way that you've encountered Christ.
Well, yeah. Well, how I met him was through hardship. When I was at the bottom of the well, I lost my marriage, I lost my job, lost my health, and I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't handle it. I thought I could, but I wish you know my good friend Pratt. Him and my son, who's a real Christian kid, told me, you need to ask the Lord to get this off your chest, off your shoulders, this weight. So I remember I did, and and it didn't happen all at once. It was a continuing thing. I went to church. There was a church right across from where I lived out on Grand Island, and I went there and I got involved with a program with the elderly. There was this elderly woman I used to visit. She was a sweet lady. I got to be good friends with her. Fortunately, I wasn't there that long when I met her because I retired and left, and she died. I went to visit her in the hospital. I remember I got her some roses. She had a heart attack. I think she was 90-something, and she died shortly after I left. Her son called me and told me she passed away.
And then you've continued it.
Yeah, when I retired, I came here. I knew I was going to be helping with the church here, but I didn't realize it would be the extent that I did. I knew I would work dinners and that sort of thing, but I didn't realize I'd be mowing the lawns and doing the snow blowing and all that. I used to take people to the doctors. I've met a lot of people who through the shop, I've talked to them about their faith. And I've got a couple of them even come to church here. This is a story, a kid I grew up with never went to church, was always in trouble. He spent a lot of time in jail, but I knew him since I was a kid. And the last time he got out, he only had a short time to live. And I knew he was in the hospital. And I asked Pastor B to go out and see if he could reach him. And he did. And he made it, makes me cry to think about it. This guy was not saved, but he is now, before he died. I thought that was great, It really touched me. Can't help it. I cry easy anyways. I could sit here all day and tell you about people I met one way or another through animals, especially.
So has Jesus changed your life?
It did. It's, I love working with people. I love helping people when I can. I do. I often wonder, and I didn't know this at first, this lady had died and left us all the money. Remember I told you that nobody knew her but me, because I met her through my best friend Pratt. He graduated with her, but I used to take her to the doctor now and then when she needed, not all the time, and I used to take dinners over to her at Thanksgiving time and that. And I thought, I wonder if she left that money because I was connected with her and she knew I worked at the animal shelter, but she left a lot of money to other organizations. So, that was, but I just thought, I wonder if I just touched her that she left that money to us,
Yeah. God uses us, and we're a continuation of the gospel.
Yeah, but it took me 50 years to realize it. I was telling her, one time I was singing in the choir, and we were doing this song, Revive Us, Lord, and all of a sudden, I got so warm, I couldn't sing. The tears were running down my cheeks, and I asked Pastor B, I was telling him about that. He said, Jones, the Holy Spirit just grabbed you. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's the only time it ever happened, but I wondered what it was, Hey, I'll do this till I can't do it anymore. That's, like I said, I love volunteering. I wish more people would,
How have you encountered Jesus? And how are you a continuation of the gospel?
Well, I guess I've always been in the church encountering Jesus because, my mom's pastor. But in every church I've been in, and I've had a couple, they've all been like super different, but they've all had a couple things in common. They've all been outreaching to other people, and they've all accepted us into their family and helped out whenever I wanted to outreach to other people. Like, I've always went and joined so many different groups because I'm a busybody, but whenever we needed something, I could always come to the church and they would let us use their rooms to have our meetings in, or someone in the community would offer up some help with whatever we needed. Ideas, supplies, space. And that really connected both the people in my groups who probably wouldn't talk to church people on their own and the community. So they've been different, but they've all shown Jesus and Jesus's love and acceptance to everyone.